What's going on, everybody? I'm joined by Sanya today. Hello, Sanya.
Hello, Stuart. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm really looking forward to talking about your country selection. It's Dora 2022. We've got 14 songs and artists that are up for the running to represent Croatia. So let's get into the ones that are calling our attention the most and which ones could be potentially winning. So first and foremost, I have to say that the thing that really caught my attention about the artists that we're seeing this year is that there are a lot of returning favorites, even from just the last edition that we had in 2021. I'm really curious how you feel about the selection of songs and artists that we have this year. What do you think?
I think maybe the thing that's confusing people is that really there are so many returning artists from the past, from the previous 2 years. We have another Dora, but some things are staying the same as in previous 2 years, but we're gonna have this year still a few new names, so I think it's gonna be as exciting as it was in previous 2 years.
And I remember that last year you had said that what you saw from the snippets that we heard, because they were just 1 minute snippets, but you felt like that would have been the best Dora ever. And do you feel like this one is taking that to another level?
It's hard to compare, but maybe it was because of the snippets and whole let's wait for the whole song's excitement. I feel like maybe we had a stronger lineup last year, but let's see the whole stagings and concepts, and let's give this Dora a chance to make it better than the previous one.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. I mean, I think that there's a lot of potential here. We know that we really want to see Croatia back in the final. They were so close in 2021. I think it can happen this time around. So let's talk about some of the songs that are in the selection.
We're thunder in waves that keep crashing like tides. When we both know love should be stronger than pride. Oprosti, I'm sorry, how can it be so hard to say?
So of the returning faces that we see in this year's Dora, Mia, I have to say, is probably going to be one of the people that there's a lot of excitement about, because she's finished in the podium on 2 occasions, and maybe the third time is going to be the charm and she'll actually come home with the win. So Sanya, what do you think about her song?
I really hope actually that this, what you said, that the third time brings her charm, that happens, because we all here in Croatia, we all know how good a vocalist she is. And we kind of hoped that she will bring a ballad this time. In the last 2 years, she had okay songs, she had good songs, but we expected kind of more, so she could show off her vocal abilities. And this year, I think she did it in a perfect way. I love the song, and I think it has a chance of winning, and I'm brave enough to say it even has a chance of not only qualifying, but I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but making a top 10 result in Turin. Yeah.
You know what? I can't blame you for having that optimism, because as I mentioned before, we do really want to see Croatia back in the final. And, you know, I do think that this is definitely a contender, at least to win Dora. In some ways, it's a bit conventional, I would say, in terms of like instrumentation. But I think that the melodies that they have there are, you know, really, you know, notable, and the song is catchy enough. While it's personally not my favorite song, I think it has the potential to be my favorite performance, because as you mentioned, she's got a great voice. This song seems to be the best of the 3 songs for her to have that opportunity to demonstrate her abilities. And I am really curious to see how this is going to be staged. What do you think that we might be seeing?
I guess the staging will be quite simple. I don't think she's gonna have some complicated things going on. I think maybe the best option would be she just stands there in some beautiful dress and have the camera on her face, and that she shows us how good of an interpreter and vocalist she is. When I spoke with my friends, my Croatian fans of Eurovision, I predicted she could give us Tamara Tedevska effect. I expect her to just stand on that stage and to blow us all with her impressive vocals.
You're right, it might just be about creating atmosphere, not overcomplicating it. Sometimes, especially for ballads, that's all that you need. And we have seen examples of when people do too much with a song that really doesn't need all that much. So, you know, this is definitely going to be one to watch, I have to say.
I love. Oh, what we here for? I'm talking about the
Another returning artist that we see from last year is Bernarda, and I have to say that Colors was my absolute favorite song. It's one that I still listen to nowadays, and this time she's bringing this really anthemic, summery feeling banger, and I'm curious, Sanya, how do you feel about it?
You mentioned the Colors, and I need to say I liked it a bit more than this year's song, but I find it okay, but it's not one of my, I don't know, top 3. I think it's the staging will be make or break here. I know she's preparing choreography with 4 or 5 dancers. I know she promised a great show and a lot going on. I don't know what exactly, but I guess the staging will give her additional points from my perspective.
I think so too, and it should be mentioned that Bernarda is in some ways limited because she is visually impaired, so she's not somebody that can be doing all kinds of complex choreography and doing parkour off the walls, right? So it is a challenge for who does the staging direction to really add some movement, especially to these high energy songs. While I do think the staging is going to be absolutely critical to this, I have to say that the thing that really jumped out at me about this song is her voice. She just seems like the most versatile singer, like way more versatile than your average Eurovision participant, especially towards the end of the song when it sounds like she's throwing in like operatic tones to her voice, then it switches up to something that's more gruff like soul, and then we get those crazy whistle notes, which I don't know if this would be another record setter like Eden from Israel was, but I was just like,
I think
it could be, and my mind was blown, and I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah, she recently even did it was so unexpected for me, but she did a cover of Rijeka from last year's Dora of Negovetić, and you can find her cover on YouTube, and I was so impressed because she's so versatile and she can do everything that she wants with her voice. And after Mia and Negovetić that we talked about, we have another really great vocalist.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm so excited for this one. Bernarda's my girl. I want to see her represent Croatia, because I think that this could be really great. And I mean, like the song itself, sure, it has its cliches. It's really optimistic. It's got even touches of gospel sounds, and it's called "Here for Love." But like, in my case, the voice really makes up for it. The production also is really modern, and I think this would really set the Euro Club on fire if this was the one to be chosen, and if we were to get back into the Euro Club, because I know a lot of people are missing it. So yeah, as you can tell, this is my favorite.
Great, yeah, and it's very radio friendly, so I think it's a plus for this song also.
Here we have another artist that's returning from last year's edition of Dora, and I have to say that ToMa was one of the biggest surprises from last year. I remember we all talked about how much energy he had and how the staging was really one of the best songs. So I'm really curious about the song that he's bringing this year, quite different to what he brought last year. Sanya, what do you think?
Yeah, as you said, I think last year we were all surprised. He was a new name here in Croatia. No one really knew about him much. So we were all very positively surprised when he made such a great performance. He really elevated the song on a higher level. And that's why I have high hopes from him also this year, even though the song is very different from last year, but I think he's also a very versatile artist, and I think maybe I even like his voice more in this type of song, in this great ballad, because I do think that is a really gentle and dreamy, mysterious ballad, and I think it suits him, it fits him great.
Absolutely, and I think that a song like this would be a great way to demonstrate your versatility because it's such a contrast. In my opinion, it's one of the strongest ballads of the selection. I know, of course, we talked about Mia's earlier, which is obviously one of the contenders.
It's a different ballad. I think Mia's is like a power ballad, and this one is like a more mysterious, I don't know how to describe it, but it sounds different.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I'm not a big supporter of this kind of dichotomy of bops and ballads that sometimes I think Eurofans get a little bit obsessed about. There's room for nuance, and I mean, this one, it is more of a straight up ballad, but one that I'm really captivated by, especially if the visuals are as strong and as fitting to the song as what we saw last year, then I would say that this should be considered a contender. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And he won the hearts of Croatians last year, and people remember him. He made a name for himself last year.
I'm with him and you're a secret treasure. He's devotion, you're a guilty pleasure. I'm with him and this is real life, honey. Guess the joke's no longer funny.
So now we're not talking about a returning artist as we have for the last three. This one is making her Dora debut. However, she is not an unknown. In fact, she's had a lot of singles that have charted in Croatia. So tell me what you think about this Mia song.
Yeah, I was surprised to see her on Dora, but I'm glad she's here because she brings something different yet authentic to what she usually does. I think this is her maybe second song at all in English. There was one before that I know of, and I really liked it. I think she sounds better in English than in Croatian, so I think this one is the one to stand out for me when we're talking about her discography. When talking about Eurovision and national selections, a couple of times it happens that some artist that we love goes on Eurovision, but not with his or her strongest song. And I think this one of Mia Dimšić is actually one of her strongest songs.
I really appreciate what this song is adding to Dora because it really adds to the variety. And generally speaking, when we're talking about music from nowadays, a lot of it is very heavily produced, very synthetic. And, you know, we need a bit of a reset from that with just acoustic instruments, still, you know, really solid pop song writing. I can't say that I love the song, but especially because it is changing the mood, I could really appreciate the performance itself, and that might win me over and make me appreciate it a lot more. And I find it interesting that you feel like her singing in English actually works better for her than singing in Croatian, because I feel like the lyrics flow very naturally. Sometimes if it's because they're non-native speakers or just because the catchiness of the melody is the more important focus rather than the words that are being said. I feel like all of it comes together quite nicely. She's very clearly a talented songwriter, and I would like to see this at least do well. Do you see this winning?
I'm not sure. It's not of my personal favorites to win it, but I know she has a really strong fan base here in Croatia because she is famous here. There are, I think, 3 songs that are on YouTube trending. The first one is Marko, the second one is Mia Negovetić, and I think Mia Dimšić is third on YouTube trending. I'm not sure about winning, but she could do really well.
Voli, voli, voli me do neba, ali njene ruke oko njega, oko njega.
So this is definitely one of the moodier songs that we have. I like that it lives in this middle ground because it's almost like a ballad, but it's got that, you know, down-tempo bass, a little bit of that 80s synth in there. Tell me what you think about this one.
It's actually my second favorite and my personal favorite when we are talking about the songs that I'm gonna listen to the most. It's my number one. I think this type of songs are the ones that I listen to in my car and when doing something, and I don't know, it's definitely going on my playlist and it's definitely going on a loop with me. So yeah, I really like this song.
It's quite mysterious in some ways, and I was talking to you a little bit earlier about the lyrics, and I want you to read that one part about the day and night.
Yeah, the lyrics are quite mysterious, and the theme is, believe it or not, a love triangle actually. She says, he's not mine, but he's not even hers. He's my night, and he's her day and the ring. So it may be a forbidden love in its way. And in a chorus, she's saying that he loves her to the sky, but they can't be together because of another girl. Yeah, it's quite kind of mysterious, but also somehow moody and playful.
And that idea of like being the kind of like nighttime lover, knowing that now really fits the feeling that I got from the song, because it does have that feeling. It's interesting that you said this is the kind of song that you'd listen to while driving around, because what I feel like is that the aesthetic of the song puts me there, of like, being on a dark street, whether it's in a car or just, underneath some neon lights. Yeah, I really love the feeling of this song. Tell me, is Tia a returning artist, or is she making her debut?
No, she's a new artist, and she's on Dora and also on Croatian music scene. She released just one song before this one. I'm really impressed by her voice. She has something mysterious in her voice, and for the ones who are also following Pesma za Euroviziju, Serbian national selection, her voice reminds me of Angelina, who sings Origami.
Yeah, the voice is also one of the most appealing aspects of this song.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I am going to be really excited to see what they do with it live. If they bring that feeling, the feeling of nighttime, and there's lots of darkness and deep blues and purples, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do.
She said that she will gonna be alone on stage. That's all I know so far, but let's see what's gonna happen on that stage with visuals and everything. Yeah.
Tu je samo grijeh, a duša bira. Moli za nas, moli za nas.
Another new face that we see to the selection is Marko, and as I understand, this is his first song ever.
Yeah, this is, believe it or not, this is his first song ever, but he's already quite famous here because he participated in a really famous talent show here in the region, and he is well known since, I don't know, he was very young. I don't know how old was he, but we all listen to his covers of different other songs, so he's not unfamous even though it's his first song. Yeah.
Tell me what you think about it, because this one really took me by surprise, I have to say. We were talking about how moody Tia's song was, but this one is also quite moody. It's got these really dark, soft arpeggios, which I find really appealing. And you were telling me as well that the context of the song is quite, people are debating it as well.
Actually, the songwriters are the same for Marko and Tia's song. Mm-hmm. And so that's why maybe you get the same mysterious mood. When speaking about the lyrics of the song, he says in chorus "Moli za nas," which means pray for us. And the context of a song is very, I don't know, it's mysterious. There are a lot of metaphors speaking about fears, about sins, about a lot of different feelings and ways of expressing it. I'm not really sure what the meaning of the song is lyrically, so maybe we can conclude after we see it on the stage. Maybe the staging tells the story of the song, because I'm not sure really who is he addressing when he says pray for us. Does he talk about humanity, or he talks about his love story? I'm not really sure what's going on.
I can see the context of pray for us being used in, obviously like a religious way, let's say, and maybe that will upset some people. Maybe that will also win some people over, who knows, right? Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of keep my opinions reserved for now. I'm definitely intrigued by just the aesthetic of the song, but I am really curious about how they're going to tell that story on stage. It is going to be one to watch, I have to say.
Yeah.
So it seems like we're really ending things off with the moodiest of the songs, because this one is also quite dark and dramatic. As I understand, Elis is a folk singer who incorporates elements of rock in her music, and she sings in a specific dialect of the Croatian language. What is it?
Yeah, it's called Labinjonska Cakavica. Actually, she's from Istria, from the peninsula. Her native languages are this dialect and Croatian, but interesting to say, she speaks, I don't know how many languages. She speaks Italian, German, English. I know she has a book and some songs in Japanese even, so she's very, very interesting, and she's also an actress. What I like about her that she's really authentic, and she always brings something different. You don't know exactly what to expect from Elis, and that's why she's she's great.
And this song that she's got this time, it's called No War. We also do get some English in there as well. Even an F-bomb dropped at the very end. What do you think about this song?
I like that the song brings a dramatic atmosphere in the beginning, but for me, I kind of expected it to explode in a chorus even more than it did. So I'm maybe missing some wow moment to say, this is it, I'm voting for this. I do like it, but I expected kind of more drama than the F word and at the end of the song. But I like the wordplay at the end of the song. She says, when speaking about war, she's using word innocence, and she finishes with the words ain't no sense. She just goes innocence and concludes with ain't no sense, and I think it's great and so creative to just come up with this idea.
Yeah, and it speaks to what you were saying before, the various languages that she has and how she incorporates it all into her art. Yeah, this one's fascinating. Not a favorite, but it's again one of those songs that really adds to the variety of the festival. And you told me as well that we're kind of expecting something crazy on stage.
Well, I'm not actually sure if this what I'm gonna say will happen during her performance. But she promised that she will put her song on SD card with Istrian space program she associated with them. And they will put her song on that card to some rocket or something, I don't know. And they will send it to space, to stratosphere. And after that, the song will fly back to Earth, and she will distribute it to TV stations and radio stations with that element of some flavor of space. She wants to the whole space to hear her message about peace and yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, how many people can say that they've sent their music to space? Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I guess we'll have to find out all the details of what that entails, but the more you tell me about her, the more fascinated I am by her. Don't necessarily see this one winning, but who knows, maybe if it's as impactful as she's intending it to be on stage, then people will at least pay attention. I don't think people are going to forget this one by any means.
No, I don't think people are going to forget, and maybe with a space, maybe space unites and says, and this has to win. I'm maybe also not expecting her to win, but if she surprises us in the way that we are not expecting at all, she may do well.
And even if not that, maybe she'll be the first artist to participate in a Eurovision selection that attracted some aliens and got their attention. So those are our thoughts on the songs that are at least speaking to us the most. Now we got to talk about winners. Pretty sure I know what you're going to say here, but who do you see winning this year?
I would like to see Mia Negovetić win, because I think this is her year. She tried 2 times, and I think this is her best attempt, and fingers crossed for her to do well. If the song is well staged, I think she has really high chances of winning.
Yes, and I definitely see her as a contender for the win. I would be very happy with her winning, even though it's not my favorite song. I am, of course, gonna support my girl Bernarda, because I just think she's amazing, and she blew my mind with the studio version. I'm expecting it to be just as great live, and I do really appreciate the song as well. I think that could do really well at Eurovision. But apart from winners, who else do you see doing well?
I wouldn't write off Marko, Bošnjak, with Moli za nas. I think he also is one of the strongest contenders for a win. Even for the ones who maybe are not so impressed with his song, with the studio version of his song, I think when we hear him interpreting and singing the song live, it's gonna be something different, because he really makes magic with his voice, and I think he will gain a lot of support also.
Definitely going to be one to watch. Another one that I'm seeing going pretty far is ToMa, because once again, as you mentioned, it was such a surprise last year, and now that he's kind of won over the hearts of people in Croatia, maybe this is the perfect opportunity for him to gain some support. So, you know, and who knows, maybe he could even win the whole thing. But those are our thoughts on the selection that we have in Croatia. Dora, let us know what you think. Do you see one of these songs winning, or do you have another song in mind? Let us know which ones your favorites are as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to eurovoxx, because we talk about all the national selections. We're really, really deep into the season now, but we've got lots more coming, including other internally selected songs. So we'd love to know what you have to say about those. Don't forget to reach out to us on socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Sanja, for joining me. And we'll see you all on the next video. Take care.
See you guys.